Morning to everybody. Thanks so much for spending a little bit of time today to learn a little bit more about your 401k plan and the benefit that'll be presented to you today. I'm Ian Campbell. Our firm is called Alpha Capital Management Group, and we've got another advisor that's part of our team here. His name's Mark L. We are joint on all of our 401k plans, so you've got two advisors to reach out to, and we are available to each of you as well. The purpose of the call is really to go over the enrollment process. But we're going to be talking about a handful of other things like the importance of saving, helping out with some decisions that you'll be faced as you're going through that online enrollment portion as well. I have sent David and Danny an email with a couple of attachments. 3 of them we'll be reviewing today. He'll get that off to you here shortly after the call if he hasn't done so already. And then we'll also make this video available via YouTube video link shortly after the call is done. The first document that I wanted to spend a little bit of time on is going to be the online enrollment packet. It is 15 pages in length, as you can see on the top here, and it really starts on the second page. And the second page is where it says, let's get started. And you'll go to a website link, which is the provider's website, Retirement Plan Consultants. And this website link you can actually use for all future logins as well, so make sure you bookmark that, save it, add it to your favorites, whatever you do. And I've actually got it pulled up on my screen here just to create some familiarity with each of you of what that will look like. So once you go to that website, the first step, and you'll have to just do this once, is you'll go to the top left corner of that box, you'll hit online enrollment. It'll flip the screen and ask you to type in that plan password. And the plan password is also in the body of the email, but it's also going to be here on this second page as well. Everward, sorry, E-V-E-R-W-A-R-D, in all capital letters as well. It is case sensitive, so make sure you are putting in that information in capital letters. I've got another quick heads up for each of you is a great reference tool is going to be on this document as well. Starting on page 9 is a step-by-step screenshot of each of those next workflows or that process to complete that online enrollment. I just showed you these first 2 steps, clicked online enrollment, type in that plan password. The next section, you'll put in that social security number, date of birth. The third is going to be your input of your username and password and creating that for you. Once you complete the online enrollment process, your account is instantly live. So that completes that process. We really educate and strive people to do the online enrollment because it's more secure, it's faster, and it's really easier for everybody from a process standpoint. There is one mention I did want to bring up. As about halfway through the process of going through that online enrollment, there'll be a section where you'll select investments. And there's a question that says, what sources of money do you want these investments to go to or be part of? Make sure you're selecting all sources of money when you're completing that section there and then just hitting next. I'm going to hop back to a different document, which is the PDF enrollment book. This is a very large document. It's 55 pages in length. But we're going to just go over the first couple pages of this. The enrollment application is available in a paper form if you do need to complete a paper form or want to do that. Again, we really recommend everybody do the online enrollment. This paper form will also serve another purpose for those who do not want to participate in the plan. This paper form will actually serve as a waiver for each of you who don't want to participate. You'll then be required to complete this top section, and you'll select this first box where it says, I elect not to contribute into the retirement plan at this time. And then you'll sign that second page and turn it back into Denny, and he'll keep a copy for his records. If you say no today or no in the near future before the end of the year, it's not a no forever. You can then start up every quarter thereafter. So April, July, October, January, and so on in the following quarters to come. So again, it's not a no forever, but if you do want to participate, we really, really encourage that as well. So the first section is going to be important to fill out, all self-explanatory. The first section, there's a date of hire. So if you're not sure of what it is, get with Denny, get with the HR team there and confirm that you have that appropriate date. You will need to input that as you're completing these documents or the online version. For those who do want to participate, which we hope is everybody, you've got a couple options from a contribution type, which goes into that second question. Which do I want to contribute? Either pre-tax or traditional contributions or after-tax Roth contributions. And the difference between the two, pre-tax and after-tax, is hint right in the name, when the money is taxed. For an after-tax contribution, or Roth, you're taxed on the monies today, and you're putting in money that you've already paid taxes on. So then when you withdraw the money in retirement, you're not subject to those taxes. You've already paid them. The opposite happens with a pre-tax or traditional contribution. And that's probably what most people are familiar with, is the pre-tax traditional. You're putting in money today, you have not paid taxes on it, but then in retirement, you're going to withdraw that money and pay whatever your effective tax rate is at that time or in that year. So the difference between the two is what you foresee your tax bracket to be like in retirement, or what tax rates are going to be in retirement. One may say, hey, I'm not going to be working much in retirement, or hardly any, and I'm just going to be paying taxes on whatever income distributions I'm making in Social Security. So that could be a reason to do the pre-tax. We tend to see people doing Roth if they're in a low tax bracket now, they're younger, or they're earlier in their working careers in some cases as well. But you can argue probably both sides of it. There's not a right or a wrong of picking both. So one also mention is, if you are going to save in a pre-tax contribution, it will affect your net take-home pay less. So if you're looking to save as much as you possibly can, but it not to affect your take-home pay as much, is that pre-tax or traditional option is going to be the best case scenario, because you'll get that benefit of that tax difference. I wanted to pause there. Does anybody have any specific questions on traditional versus Roth, or any questions about that? Okay, so you are eligible to change that at any time as well. So whatever you decide today on that or anything else, how much or the investments, you can adjust it at any time. So I'm going to hop over to the third question or decision that you'll be going through, is the how much. I feel it's the most important decision. How much is very important for young folks, as well as people that are nearing the end of retirement as well, or catching up for lost time. The national average is 8%. So all age groups, all industries, all states, the individual participant is saving roughly 8% of their income in their 401k plan or retirement plan. The research and studies really shows that 10% is that magic number that folks should get to, or goal. So being in between that 8 and 10% is a great spot to be at. We know that most people don't have that in the cards right now from a budgeting standpoint. So starting out at something less is important, but also bumping that contribution up 1% every year after is an easy way to limp into a higher number. What's also important is the company match that's available to each of you, that if you are participating, you get. So if you are participating, you will be able to get a company match. And that company match is called a safe harbor match. And that safe harbor match is based off of a calculation. And I'm going to explain it in a couple of different ways so you're clear on it. The safe harbor match is 100% on the first 3% that you put in, and then 50% on the next 2% that you put in. So 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3. If you as an employee put in 4%, the company match would be 3.5%. If you put in 5%, the company match would be 4%. The 4% is the maximum that you could get, but you would have to put in at least 5% to get that company match of 4%. If you put in something greater than 5, like say 8, 10, whatever it may be, you're still going to get that 4%. So as an example, if you've got a $1,000 paycheck and you're going to save 5%, that's $50. The company match would be 4%, that would be $40. So $90 would be going into your paycheck, or from your paycheck into the 401k account, 50 from you, 40 from the company. Your net take-home pay would probably only drop by about $30. If you're saving 50, your net take-home pay in a pre-tax scenario would only go down about $30. So you can save $90 into your 401k plan and only have your net take-home pay drop by about $30, give or take, depending on your tax bracket and income. So a great example there to help show you the power of saving in a 401k plan on top of that 401k benefit that's available to you as participants. So I wanted to pause there. Are there any questions at all about the traditional versus Roth, how much, or that company match?
We're good, Ian.
Okay. So the next really quick mention is the flat dollar amount. You are eligible to put that flat dollar amount in there if you would like. We really recommend doing a percentage. In the event that you're an hourly employee, that dollar amount is going to come out regardless of what your paycheck is. So let's say you're saving $100 per pay period. Your check's $1,000 normally. That $100 comes out, it's not a big deal. Now, if you worked half the time and it's only $500 is your paycheck, that $100 is still going to come out. So be mindful. I would choose that percentage rather than a flat dollar amount unless you're trying to get to a specific dollar amount for the end of the year. Then we could build a case that would work better. So I'm going to hop to the investment section. All of these investments are available to each of you to pick and choose from, all of which are all institutional grade mutual funds. What that means to you is they're all low cost, or the lowest cost available to investors. All of these funds are also top performers in their respective classes or asset classes. Part of Mark and I's role and responsibility as an advisor is to make sure that this investment menu is the best that it possibly can be today, but also into the future. Every single quarter, we're reviewing this investment to make sure it's the best that it possibly can be. If there's a fund that does not meet a certain criteria, we're going to pull it out and replace it with a like-kind fund that's doing better than that one that we replaced it with. So with that being said, I'm telling you they've got great investments, a broad choice available, and also low cost doesn't help with that final decision of investments and also ongoing. So Mark and I, we put together what's called a model asset allocation guide. And this will also be another document that's in the email that you can get access to. We've got all of the investments here on that left-hand column. The ticker symbol is in that third column. The asset class is in that second column. And then we built 5 different model portfolios based off of a risk tolerance up in this larger rectangle. And this larger rectangle is going to be more of a hands-on approach for each of you. So depending on how involved you want to be with your investment decision, if you want to be more hands-on, we've got the roadmap of what we would recommend you to invest in based off of that risk tolerance. From an education standpoint, the aggressive column would be appropriate for folks that would be in their 20s and 30s, even into their 40s. We tend to see people in their 40s and 50s will be in that moderate aggressive column. And then folks that'll be in their 50s and 60s tend to be in that moderate column. And then anybody in retirement would be in those next 2 or the most least aggressive ones. So the ask of the participant is, if you're going to follow one of these columns, is that every quarter when we come out with this new guide, is that you simply log into your website, compare one of these columns to your investment choice, and make sure you're in the right percentages or in the right funds. So a little bit hands-on, but not too much. We're doing the math and the homework of what we feel would be most appropriate and diversified based off of those investment choices. So we've got one hands-on option. The hands-off option is going to be to select a target date fund. And the target date funds work in the way that you would find out what year it will be when you reach age 65. And that's going to put you into one of these target date ranges. And then that would be your most appropriate target date fund, and you would go 100% into that one fund. And these are very similar to the top allocation models, as they're aggressive for those younger folks, and then over time they become more and more conservative, and then at retirement they're in that moderate kind of column or that middle column. So the ones I've highlighted in blue are going to be similar to that aggressive column, 80 to 90% in equities or stocks. Yeah. The next 3 are going to be more in that 65-35 mix, 60-40, 70-30, where it's going to be moderate aggressive for folks that are in their 40s, or give or take. And then the next 3, or the closer the one that is to the present year, 2018, 2020, is going to be roughly about a 50-50 portfolio or balance for that moderate column. So more appropriate for somebody that would be nearing retirement. So they start out at 90% in equities, and they automatically de-risk over time, getting you to about a 50-50 portfolio at retirement. So it's a hands-off approach. About 70% of people that are saving in retirement plans actually pick a target date fund. So it's not a bad choice. It's diversified all in one, but it is a great investment choice if you want to be a little bit more hands-off. So we've got one scenario. There's hands-on, hands-off. The third is each of you are free to do whatever else you would like as well. You have the keys to the car. It's self-directed. We just wanted to help provide some more education and advice of what we feel would be most appropriate. You can make any changes to these investments every single day if you wanted to. There is no cost of going in and out of any of these funds, and there's no trading costs. So whatever you decide today for the investments or this week, you can make adjustments to that at any time. Our contact information, Mark and I, is on the bottom left corner of this document here. It's also in the body or the subject of the email. So if you've got any questions on that, feel free to reach out to us. This is not a one and done. We're going to have quarterly communication that will come out with this asset allocation guide, a newsletter, and then other savings tips and information with market news and stuff. So I wanted to pause there to see if there's any questions about the investments before we cover two other final things.
Good here.
Okay. Everybody good there, Denny?
Yes, we're good.
All right. So again, all this information can be completed online, including this beneficiary designation form. The beneficiaries are important as in the event that you would pass away, the monies that you've accumulated in your account are rolled in, go to whom you wish. As an example, husband and wife and 2 children, the spouse would be listed as primary beneficiary at 100%. The 2 children would be listed as contingent beneficiaries at 50% apiece. There is a rule, it's from the IRS and the Department of Labor, is that if you are going to skip your spouse as primary beneficiary or not name them first in line or 100%, they have to acknowledge that they're being skipped, and the notary is also needs to be present and sign as well. So don't want to create any arguments at the dinner table tonight or this week, but it is an IRS rule. So if that does apply, you have to fill out a paper form. You can't do that electronically. And that goes for all beneficiaries with any accounts that have money. So if that's the first time you're hearing it and you haven't, or if you got married, go there and update your beneficiary information. The last and final thing that we wanted to cover is the plan account rollover. In the event that you've got an old 401k account, IRA, any retirement plan, you are eligible. If you are eligible to participate, you can roll those monies into the plan if you would like as well. The same goes for the outbound. If you're no longer working for the company and 10, 20 years from now or 5 years from now or whatever, you can move that money that you've accumulated in that account out to an IRA or 401k plan that you're working at in the future or whatever. It goes in and it goes out with this form. So if that does apply to you, we can get you in touch with the team at the provider, Retirement Plan Consultants, and they can do all the heavy lifting for you for moving over that money from that account over to them or vice versa out from them to another account. The dedicated representative with RPC is a lady by the name of Stephanie Wolf. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We can get you connected with her, and she'll be able to assist you on that. That is all the information we were to cover. We wanted to be mindful of your guys' time this afternoon. We've got another meeting coming up here in about 10 minutes with the other group there. Again, if there's any questions that either of you have any questions on going through the enrollment process, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to go and assist. And also into the future, feel free to give Mark or I a call or an email with any questions that you have.